The locker room smelled of sweat and defeat, the kind that clung to your skin and burrowed into your bones. Mia sat on the cold metal bench, her soccer cleats still laced tight, her hands trembling as tears carved silent rivers down her face. She'd just lost the championship game. Her last shot at proving she was more than the girl who never quite fit in. The whistle had blown 30 minutes ago, signaling the end of the season and, for Mia, the end of a dream. At 22, she was supposed to be the star forward of the Crestwood College Cougars, the one recruiters whispered about. But tonight, she'd missed the final penalty kick. The ball sailing wide as the crowd groaned and her teammates' faces fell. The weight of their disappointment crushed her, but it was the text from her mother, received just before the game, that broke her. "We're done if you keep living this way. Choose right, Mia." She choked back a sob, her hazel eyes scanning the empty locker room. Her teammates had left, their chatter fading down the hall, leaving her alone with the echo of her failure. She wasn't just crying over the game. It was the years of hiding, of pretending she didn't feel what she felt, of loving in secret because her family called it sin. The door creaked open and Mia's heart lurched. She wiped her face, expecting a janitor, but it was Coach Elena Marquez. At 32, Elena was a legend in women's soccer. A former pro who'd traded the spotlight for coaching after an injury ended her career. Her dark hair was pulled back, her green eyes sharp yet soft as they landed on Mia. She wore her usual tracksuit, but the way she carried herself, confident, unyielding, made the room feel smaller, warmer. "Mia," Elena said, her voice low like she was approaching a wounded animal. "You're still here." Mia ducked her head, ashamed. "Sorry, coach. I'll clear out." "Don't." Elena crossed the room in 3 strides, sitting on the bench beside her. The air shifted, charged with something Mia couldn't name. "You don't have to hide from me. Not here." Mia's throat tightened. She'd always admired Elena, her strength, her poise, the way she commanded respect without raising her voice. But lately admiration had twisted into something deeper, something dangerous. Stolen glances during practice, the brush of Elena's hand when she adjusted Mia's form, the way her laugh made Mia's chest ache. She tried to bury it, but feelings like that don't stay buried. "I blew it," Mia whispered, her voice cracking. "The game, my family, everything." Elena's gaze softened, but she didn't look away. "You didn't blow anything. You played your heart out. And your family," she hesitated, her jaw tightening. "They don't get to define you." Mia laughed bitterly, wiping her eyes. "Easy for you to say. You're you. You've got it all figured out." Elena's lips curved into a small, sad smile. "You think so? I'm still figuring it out, Mia. Every damn day." The confession hung between them, raw and unguarded. Mia's pulse quickened. Elena was always so composed, so untouchable. But now, sitting this close, she seemed human, flawed, reachable. Mia wanted to ask what she meant, but fear held her back. Instead, she said, "I don't know how to keep going. Not when everyone wants me to be someone else." Elena leaned closer, her hand brushing Mia's knee. The touch was fleeting but electric, sending a shiver through her. "Then be you," Elena said fiercely. "The real you. The one who lights up the field, who feels everything so deeply it scares her. That's who you are, Mia. And she's enough." Mia's breath caught. No one had ever said that to her. Not her parents, not her teammates, not even herself. She looked into Elena's eyes, searching for a lie but found only truth. And something else, something that mirrored the ache in her own chest. "Coach," Mia started, but the word felt wrong, too formal for the intimacy of the moment. "Elena, I." The locker room door swung open again and they both froze. A teammate, Sarah, poked her head in. "Mia, you coming to the team dinner?" Her eyes flicked between them, curious but oblivious. Mia's face burned. Yeah, give me a sec." Sarah nodded and left, the door clicking shut. The spell broke, but the air still hummed with what hadn't been said. Elena stood, her expression unreadable. "You should go. They're waiting." Mia nodded, her heart pounding. As she grabbed her bag, Elena's voice stopped her. "Mia, we're not done here." "Okay." The words were a promise, fragile but heavy. Mia managed a nod, her chest tight with hope and fear. She left the locker room, the echo of Elena's words trailing her like a shadow. The next morning, Mia woke to a text from Elena. Meet me at the field at 7. We need to talk. Her stomach flipped. She'd barely slept, replaying their conversation. The way Elena's hand had felt on her knee. Was it pity? Or something more? She didn't dare hope, but the pull was too strong to ignore. The Crestwood field was quiet at dawn, the grass still damp with dew. Elena was already there, leaning against the goalpost, her silhouette sharp against the rising sun. Mia's heart raced as she approached, her sneakers sinking into the turf. "You're early," Elena said, a teasing lilt in her voice. "Couldn't sleep," Mia admitted, shoving her hands in her pockets. "What's this about?" Elena's smile faded, replaced by something serious. "You. Me. What happened last night?" She stepped closer, her voice dropping. "I saw you, Mia. Really saw you. And I can't pretend I didn't." Mia's breath hitched. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying," Elena paused, her eyes searching Mia's. "I've been where you are. Hiding who I am, afraid of what it means. I don't want you to go through that alone." The words hit Mia like a tidal wave. She'd heard rumors about Elena. Whispers that she'd left the Pro League not just because of her injury, but because of who she loved. Mia had dismissed them as gossip, but now, standing here, she saw the truth in Elena's eyes. "I don't know what to do," Mia confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. I've felt things, but I've never said it out loud. Not even to myself." Elena's expression softened, but there was a fire in her eyes. "Then say it now. To me. No one else is here." Mia's heart pounded so loud she thought it might burst. She opened her mouth, but the words caught, tangled in years of fear. Finally she forced them out. I think I'm in love with you." The silence that followed was deafening. Elena's face didn't change, but her eyes shimmered with something Mia couldn't read. Then slowly she reached out, her fingers brushing Mia's cheek. "You're braver than you know," she whispered. Before Mia could respond, Elena's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, her face hardening. "It's the athletic director. I have to go." She hesitated, then added, "This isn't over. Meet me here tomorrow. Same time." Mia nodded, dazed, as Elena walked away. The field felt emptier without her, but Mia's heart was fuller than it had ever been. She'd said it. She'd admitted who she was. And for the first time she didn't feel alone. The dawn was colder the next morning, the air biting at Mia's fingertips as she jogged to the field. Her confession from yesterday echoed in her mind, each word a spark that both thrilled and terrified her. She'd laid her heart bare to Elena, and now, standing on the empty turf, she wondered if she'd made a mistake. Elena was late. Mia paced near the goalpost, her breath visible in the chilly air. Doubt crept in like frost. What if Elena regretted their conversation? What if she'd only been kind, not interested? Mia's stomach churned. She'd never felt so exposed, not even when she missed that penalty kick. Finally, Elena appeared, her tracksuit hugging her frame, her dark hair loose and catching the first rays of sunlight. "Sorry," she said, slightly out of breath. "Meeting ran long. You okay?" Mia nodded, though her heart was racing. "I wasn't sure you'd come." Elena's green eyes softened. "I said I would. I meant it." She stepped closer, her voice low. "Mia, what you said yesterday, it took guts. More than I had at your age." Mia swallowed hard. Did I say too much?" No, Elena's voice was firm, but her expression was conflicted. "You said exactly what you needed to. But this," she gestured between them, "it's complicated. I'm your coach. There are rules, expectations. And I don't want to hurt you." The words stung, but Mia caught the tremor in Elena's voice, the way her hands fidgeted. "You're not hurting me," Mia said, stepping closer. "You're the first person who's ever made me feel like I can be myself." Elena's breath hitched, and for a moment they stood frozen, the space between them electric. Then Elena turned away, running a hand through her hair. "You don't know what you're asking for, Mia. I've been down this road. It's not easy." "Then tell me," Mia pressed, her voice rising. "Tell me what happened to you. Why you left the pros, why you're so scared to let anyone in." Elena's jaw tightened, but she didn't pull away. After a long pause she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "Her name was Rachel. We played together on the national team. I loved her and she loved me. But when it got out, the sponsors dropped me, the media turned it into a circus, and my family, she trailed off, her eyes distant. They didn't speak to me for years. Mia's chest ached. She wanted to reach out to hold Elena, but fear held her back. I'm sorry, she said softly. But I'm not Rachel. And this isn't 10 years ago. Elena's lips twitched into a sad smile. You're right. But it's still risky. For both of us. I don't care, Mia said, her voice fierce. I've spent my whole life hiding. I'm done. Elena studied her, her gaze intense. Then slowly she nodded. Okay. But we take this slow. And we keep it quiet, at least for now. Mia's heart soared. It wasn't a promise of forever, but it was enough. They stood there, the field stretching out around them, a silent witness to their fragile beginning. Over the next few weeks, Mia and Elena navigated their new reality with cautious steps. They met in secret, early mornings on the field, late nights in Elena's office, stolen moments where no one could see. Each touch, each shared glance, felt like a rebellion against the world that told Mia she was wrong to love this way. But the secrecy weighed on her. At practice, Elena was all business, her voice sharp as she called plays, her eyes avoiding Mia's. It was necessary, they'd agreed, but it hurt. Mia wanted to shout her feelings from the bleachers, to hold Elena's hand in public, to be free. Instead, she poured her energy into soccer, her performance sharper than ever. One evening, after a grueling practice, Mia lingered in the locker room, hoping for a moment alone with Elena. The team had left and the silence was heavy. She was about to give up when Elena slipped in, locking the door behind her. You're pushing yourself too hard, Elena said, her tone soft but stern. You're going to burn out. Mia shrugged, wiping sweat from her brow. I'm fine. I need to be good at something. Elena crossed the room, stopping inches from her. You're already good. You're incredible, Mia. Her voice dropped, laced with something deeper. And not just on the field. Mia's breath caught as Elena's hand cupped her cheek, her thumb brushing away a stray tear Mia hadn't realized was there. The air crackled, and before she could think, Mia leaned in, their lips meeting in a kiss that was both tentative and desperate. It was everything she'd imagined, soft, fierce, real. When they pulled apart, Elena's eyes were wide, her breathing uneven. We can't do that here, she whispered, but she didn't step back. Then where? Mia challenged, her voice trembling. When? Elena didn't answer, but her hand lingered on Mia's face, her touch a silent promise. They parted reluctantly, the weight of their secret heavier than ever. That night, Mia's phone lit up with another text from her mother. Come home this weekend. We need to talk. Her stomach dropped. She hadn't been home since the championship, since her mother's ultimatum. The thought of facing her family, of pretending she was someone she wasn't, made her sick. She showed the text to Elena the next morning, her hands shaking. What do I do? She asked, her voice small. Elena's face hardened. You don't owe them anything. But if you go, you don't go alone. I'll drive you. Mia stared at her, stunned. You do that. I told you, Elena said, her voice steady. You're not alone anymore. The drive to Mia's hometown was 3 hours, the car filled with tense silence and soft music. Elena's presence was a lifeline, but Mia's nerves frayed with every mile. When they pulled into the driveway of her childhood home, a modest house in suburban Ohio, Mia felt like she was walking into a battlefield. Her mother greeted them at the door, her expression cold. Who's this? She asked, eyeing Elena. My coach, Mia said, her voice steady despite the knot in her chest. She drove me. The conversation that followed was a storm. Mia's mother demanded she fix herself, quoting scripture and guilt in equal measure. Her father sat silent, his disapproval a heavy weight. Mia tried to explain, to tell them she was still their daughter, but the words fell flat against their anger. Elena stayed quiet, her presence a steady anchor. But when Mia's mother called her feelings unnatural, Elena's restraint snapped. Mia is your daughter, she said, her voice calm but cutting. She's brave, talented, and kind. If you can't see that, you're the ones who need fixing. The room fell silent. Mia's mother's face flushed, but she didn't respond. Mia grabbed Elena's hand, her heart pounding, and they left. In the car, Mia broke down, sobbing as Elena held her, whispering, You did good. You're enough. The drive back to Crestwood was quieter, the weight of Mia's family confrontation settling like dust after a storm. Elena's hand rested on the console between them, close enough for Mia to feel its warmth but not close enough to touch. She wanted to reach out to bridge the gap, but the rawness of the day held her back. "You didn't have to do that," Mia said finally, her voice hoarse from crying. "Stand up to my mom like that." Elena glanced at her, her green eyes steady. "Yes, I did. No one gets to talk to you like that. Not even family." Mia's chest tightened, a mix of gratitude and something deeper. Something she was still afraid to name. She stared out the window at the blurring Ohio fields, wondering how her life had become this tangle of love and loss. "What happens now?" she asked almost to herself. Elena didn't answer right away. When she did, her voice was soft but firm. "You keep going. You live your truth, even when it's hard. And I'll be here as long as you want me to be." The words were a lifeline, but they also carried a warning. Elena was still her coach, still bound by rules Mia barely understood. Their relationship, fragile as it was, existed in the shadows. Mia wanted more. She wanted everything, but she didn't know how to ask for it. Back at college, the rhythm of classes and practice pulled Mia back into routine, but nothing felt the same. Her teammates noticed her intensity on the field, the way she threw herself into every drill, but they didn't know the fire driving her. She was playing for herself now, not for recruiters or her parents' approval, and she was playing for Elena. Their secret meetings continued, each one a stolen piece of paradise. A brush of hands during a water break, a shared smile when no one was looking, a late-night talk in Elena's car parked behind the gym. But the secrecy was a blade, cutting deeper with every passing day. Mia caught herself daydreaming about a life where they didn't have to hide, where she could kiss Elena in broad daylight and not care who saw. One afternoon during a team meeting, Elena announced a new opportunity. A showcase game against a rival college, scouted by professional teams. "This is your chance," she told the team, her eyes lingering on Mia. "Show them who you are." Mia felt the weight of those words both on the field and off. She trained harder, her body aching but her resolve unbreakable. She wanted to make Elena proud, to prove she was worth the risk they were taking. But the risk was real. Rumors started to swirl. Whispers among teammates about how much time Mia spent with Coach Elena, how Elena seemed softer with her than with the others. Sarah, the team captain, pulled Mia aside one day after practice. "What's going on with you and Coach?" she asked, her tone more curious than accusing. "Nothing," Mia said too quickly, her face heating. "She's just helping me through some stuff." Sarah raised an eyebrow but didn't push. "Just be careful, okay? People talk." The warning lingered, a shadow over Mia's fragile happiness. She told Elena about it that night, her voice shaking as they sat in Elena's office, the blinds drawn. "What if they find out?" she asked. "What happens to you? To us?" Elena's face was unreadable, but her hands were steady as she took Mia's. "If it comes to that, I'll handle it. But we're not there yet. We're careful." "Careful isn't enough," Mia said, her voice breaking. "I want to be with you. Really be with you. Not like this." Elena's eyes softened, but there was pain there too. "I want that too. But if we go public, I could lose my job. You could lose your spot on the team. Are you ready for that?" Mia didn't have an answer. The thought of losing soccer, her one constant, was unbearable. But so was the thought of losing Elena. She leaned into her, their foreheads touching, and for a moment the world was just them. The showcase game arrived. A crisp autumn day with a packed stadium. Mia felt the eyes of scouts, teammates, and Elena on her as she took the field. She played like her life depended on it, her body moving on instinct, her heart fueled by everything she couldn't say. She scored twice, her second goal a screaming shot from midfield that brought the crowd to its feet. After the game, Elena found her in the tunnel, away from the celebrating team. "You were incredible," she said, her voice thick with pride. "They're going to be fighting over you." Mia grinned, adrenaline still pumping. "Did I make you proud?" "Always," Elena said, and the look in her eyes made Mia's heart skip. For a moment they were alone, the noise of the crowd fading. Mia stepped closer, her hand brushing Elena's, but before she could say anything, a reporter appeared, notepad in hand. "Coach Marquez, a word?" he called, oblivious to the tension. Elena stepped back, her professional mask slipping into place. Mia's stomach twisted as she watched her walk away, the distance between them feeling wider than ever. That night Mia couldn't sleep. She kept replaying the game, the moment in the tunnel, the way Elena's eyes had held hers. She wanted to believe they could make it work, but doubt gnawed at her. What if love wasn't enough? What if the world was too big, too cruel for them to survive? She texted Elena. "Can we talk?" "Now." The reply came instantly, "My place." 10 minutes. Elena's apartment was small, cluttered with books and soccer memorabilia. When Mia arrived, Elena was waiting, her hair loose, her eyes tired but warm. "You okay?" she asked, closing the door behind them. "No," Mia admitted, her voice raw. "I'm scared. I don't know how to do this. Love you and keep it a secret. It's killing me." Elena's face softened, and she pulled Mia into a hug, her arms strong and sure. "I know," she whispered. "I'm scared too. But I'm not letting you go. Not unless you tell me to." Mia clung to her, tears spilling over. "I don't want to lose you. Or soccer. Or myself." "You won't," Elena said fiercely. "We'll figure it out. Together." They stayed like that, wrapped in each other as the world outside faded. For the first time, Mia believed they might actually make it. The weeks that followed were a delicate dance of stolen moments and unspoken promises. Mia and Elena grew closer, their connection deepening in the quiet spaces they carved out. A coffee shop on the edge of town, a deserted park at dusk, Elena's apartment after midnight. Each moment felt like a victory, but the secrecy was a constant ache, a reminder of the world waiting to judge them. Mia threw herself into soccer, her performance at the showcase game earning her a callback from a professional team in Seattle. The offer was a dream, her ticket out of Crestwood, her chance to prove she was more than her parents' expectations. But it also meant leaving Elena, and the thought twisted her heart. One evening, as they sat on Elena's couch, Mia voiced her fear. "If I go to Seattle, what happens to us?" Her voice was small, her hazel eyes searching Elena's. Elena's hand found hers, her grip steady. "We make it work. Long distance visits, whatever it takes. I'm not giving up on you, Mia." "But what about your job?" Mia pressed. "If people find out, you could." "Let me worry about that," Elena cut in, her voice firm. "You focus on your future. You've earned this." Mia wanted to believe her, but the rumors on campus were growing louder. Teammates whispered during practice, their glances lingering too long. Sarah caught Mia's eye one day, her expression unreadable. "You and Coach," she said quietly. "It's not just talk, is it?" Mia's heart stopped. She opened her mouth to deny it, but the lie wouldn't come. "Please," she said instead. "Don't say anything." Sarah's face softened. "I won't. But you need to be careful. The athletic director's been asking questions." The warning sent a chill through Mia. She told Elena that night, her voice shaking. "What if they fire you? What if they kick me off the team?" Elena's jaw tightened, but her eyes were steady. "They won't. Not if we're smart. But we need to decide what we're willing to risk." Mia's chest ached. She wanted to be brave, to shout her love for Elena from the rooftops, but the fear of losing everything, her career, her future, Elena, held her back. "I don't know if I can do this," she admitted, tears welling. "I love you, but I'm scared." Elena pulled her close, her voice soft but fierce. "I love you too, Mia. And that's why we're going to figure this out. No matter what." The words were a bomb, but they didn't erase the fear. Mia clung to Elena, wishing love could be enough to shield them from the world. The breaking point came a week later. Mia was called into the athletic director's office, a sterile room that smelled of coffee and bureaucracy. The director, Mr. Hayes, was a stern man in his 50s, his desk cluttered with trophies and paperwork. He didn't waste time. "We've had reports," he said, his voice clipped, "about inappropriate behavior between you and Coach Marquez." Mia's stomach dropped. "There's nothing inappropriate," she said, her voice steadier than she felt. "She's my coach. She's been helping me." Hayes raised an eyebrow. "Helping you how exactly?" "There are boundaries, Miss Carter. Rules." Mia's hands clenched in her lap. She wanted to scream, to tell him love wasn't a rule to be broken, but she held back. She's a good coach, she said instead. That's all. Hayes leaned back, his eyes narrowing. I'm placing you both under review. Until we sort this out, Coach Marquez is on leave and you're benched. The words hit like a punch. Mia left the office in a daze, her vision blurring with tears. She found Elena in the parking lot, her face pale but composed. They know, Mia said, her voice breaking. They're suspending you. Elena's expression didn't waver, but her eyes betrayed her fear. I'll fight it, she said. But you need to focus on Seattle. Don't let this stop you. How can I? Mia snapped, her voice rising. This is my fault. If I hadn't. No, Elena cut in, grabbing her shoulders. This is not your fault. This is us choosing each other. And I'd do it again. Mia's tears fell freely now. She wanted to believe Elena, but the world felt like it was closing in. That night she didn't sleep, her mind racing with what-ifs. What if Elena lost her job? What if Mia lost her scholarship? What if love wasn't enough? The next morning Mia made a decision. She couldn't let Elena face this alone. She marched to Hayes' office, her heart pounding but her resolve firm. I need to talk to you, she said, her voice steady. About me and Elena. Hayes looked surprised but nodded. Mia took a deep breath and told the truth. About their relationship, their love, their choice to be together despite the risks. She didn't beg or apologize, she stood tall, her voice clear. When she finished, Hayes was silent for a long moment. You understand the consequences, he said finally. This could end your time here. I know, Mia said. But I'm done hiding who I am. She left the office, her heart lighter despite the uncertainty. She'd chosen herself, chosen Elena, chosen love. Whatever came next, she was ready. The days after Mia's meeting with Hayes were a blur of tension and waiting. The university's review board moved slowly, their investigation casting a shadow over everything. Mia was benched, her teammates' whispers following her like ghosts. Elena was on leave, her absence a hole in Mia's world. But they didn't stop seeing each other. They met in secret, their love a quiet rebellion against the rules trying to tear them apart. One night, in Elena's apartment, Mia broke down. What if we lose everything? She asked, her voice muffled against Elena's shoulder. Then we start over, Elena said, her voice steady. Together. Mia pulled back, searching Elena's eyes. You really believe we can do this? I do, Elena said, her smile small but fierce. Because you're worth it. We're worth it. The words carried Mia through the next week. When the review board called them both in, the room was cold, the panel of administrators stern. Mia's heart pounded as she sat beside Elena, their hands inches apart but unable to touch. Hayes spoke first, his tone measured. We've reviewed the situation. Your relationship violates university policy on coach-student dynamics. However, he paused, his eyes softening slightly. We've also received testimony from your teammates, Ms. Carter. They spoke highly of your character and Coach Marquez's integrity. Mia's breath caught. She glanced at Elena, who looked as surprised as she felt. Given the circumstances, Hayes continued, we're reinstating you both, effective immediately. But there are conditions. Coach Marquez, you'll be reassigned to another team next semester. Ms. Carter, you're on probation. One misstep and you're both out. Relief flooded Mia, but it was tempered by the reality of what came next. Elena would leave Crestwood. Their time together would change. But they were still here, still fighting, still together. The rest of the semester passed in a whirlwind. Mia returned to the field, her passion reignited. Elena coached with the same fire, though her eyes lingered on Mia with a new kind of pride. They were careful, their relationship still private, but the weight of secrecy felt lighter now. When the offer from Seattle came, Mia accepted it, her heart torn but hopeful. Elena drove her to the airport, the early morning sky streaked with pink and gold. They stood outside the terminal, the hum of planes overhead. I'll visit, Elena said, her voice thick with emotion. Every chance I get. Mia nodded, tears stinging her eyes. And I'll come back. This isn't goodbye. Elena pulled her into a hug, her lips brushing Mia's forehead. You're going to be a star, she whispered. And I'll be cheering you on always. Mia clung to her, memorizing the feel of her, the scent of her shampoo, the strength in her arms. When they finally parted, Mia felt a piece of her heart stay with Elena. But she also felt whole for the first time in her life. Months later, Mia stood on a professional field in Seattle, the crowd roaring as she scored the winning goal. She looked to the stands where Elena sat, her smile brighter than the stadium lights. They'd made it through the storm, through fear, secrecy, and sacrifice. Their love wasn't perfect, but it was real and it was theirs. Mia had learned to live her truth, to love without shame, to fight for what mattered. And as she ran to Elena after the game, their hands intertwining in the chaos of the crowd, she knew they'd keep fighting together, for as long as it took.